Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm really, truly very honored to be your speaker today. Thank you, the Next Level team, for this incredible opportunity for me to share my insights on my early retirement blueprint. How do you achieve financial freedom by 30? The thing about our evolving world today is that it's so crucial that we pay our due diligence in meaningful mentorship that challenges our thinking, that inspires success. So, over the next 15 minutes, I will explore financial portfolio management with you, delving into key ideas, actionable strategies for your success. And I encourage you to embrace curiosity, ask questions actively, and actively participate. Together, we will achieve financial freedom and retire early. So, I am very fortunate today to be able to travel as and when I desire. In my most recent 3 weeks holiday, I went to Omaha for Value Investor Conference and Berkshire Hathaway AGM to network with the industry experts. And just out of curiosity, how many of you wants to know my key takeaways? What the experts are learning and talking about the next industry? How many of you wants to know what's the key takeaway? Type in the chat, me. So if you do want it, tell you what, stay to the end of this presentation and I'll show you how I get it. So, in my expertise as a thought leader, how many of you would like to save money without compromising your lifestyle today? How many of you would like to create massive passive income without even spending a large capital? And how many of you would want to actually spend little time and invest with confidence? Type me in the chat and let me know. Right? So today, I'm very thankful to be here today, and my name is Isabella, as mentioned. In the internet world, I'm actually known as the Financial Missy. And why Financial Missy? You might be wondering. And that is because I was a typical nurse. I was an ordinary nurse like most of you all in a full-time employment job. And thereafter, what happened was that I actually got into the financial sector, being a financial consultant today. So this is actually my background where I'm very, very passionate to actually move on to teach you guys about financial freedom. So, as mentioned earlier, that for me, I actually was born in a very ordinary household. I was that kind of a typical millennial who is, always throwing tantrums whenever I cannot achieve the things that I want to actually achieve. How many of you had that experience before? Having your kids or having yourself in the past throwing tantrums whenever you don't get what you want to achieve at the end of the day? Type me in the chat. Let me know, right? And then what happened? What happened next? I was ashamed of my past, having such a past, but then again, today, you might be wondering, how did I actually manage to become a nurse? How did I actually manage to survive nursing school through these days? And look at the PowerPoint over there. That was me during my COVID days. I was actually a nurse during COVID, during the whole duration of COVID, serving the Singaporeans as well as the whole Singapore. And it was a very challenging time for me to be able to, contribute to the period during then. But the key idea here I want to put it is that when I was growing up, I wasn't able to actually comprehend financial literacy. I was that kind of typical millennials who doesn't even know how to make my own Milo. I don't even know how to make my own bed. I don't even know what is the value of money. And look what nursing has brought me today. Without nursing, I probably wouldn't be able to understand the whole value of money. Ironically, a healthcare industry teaching me what is the value of money. Right, so how many of you still remembers the 2008? What happened in 2008? Let me know. Let me know. How many of you guys remember what happened in 2008? 2008, like what Lawrence actually mentioned, is the Lehman Brothers crisis, the financial crisis. And if you guys actually remember what happened, right? In 2008, in the media, in the whole media, it was so negative. There was so much negativity in the sentiments in the media. In the media, they portrayed, there's suicidal, there's high divorce rates, there's bankruptcy, there's so many issues. And during then, I bet you not, I promised myself that I will never, ever touch the stock market. I do not know why I had such intuition by then. During that, I was like, if I were in the stock market, I would probably have a meltdown myself. Because why? I'll be stuck during that. So I was so thankful during then that I wasn't in the stock market, and I swore to myself that I'm not going to be in it. What happened next? Going through nursing school was actually the highlight of my life, honestly. It was really mentally challenging, but no, I don't mean that stepping out of my comfort zone to helping others at the most challenging period was difficult. It was mentally challenging for me because I tend to think a lot. So, there's this once I remember my last memory in the inpatient ward was a face that I know I will never be able to let go. He was actually my Malay patient in his 40s, one of my long stayer due to his multiple complications with his peritoneal dialysis. He was really very nice and he was a very considerate man, always smiling at us nurses and cheering us on. As busy as a typical ward is, he's always afraid of troubling us and would patiently wait for us to settle down before making any request. But these days, as any usual days, I help him to charge his Nokia phone because how the power plugs are arranged in the hospital settings, the usual cables are not long enough for him to connect it himself. So that day, I actually helped him to actually connect it, and there's nothing much for him to do. He would just snooze or stare into the void because there's practically nothing for him to do in the ward, as you guys know. So I thought that how can I make his stay much more comfortable by helping him to get a longer cable so that he could still use his phone while even charging. The thing is that I couldn't find a cable long enough for him, a 2-meter long cable. It's only a few days later that I saw it in a mobile cart in Suntec City. I bought it without hesitation, but the very same bed the next day was vacant the next day. And it was very regretful. And I questioned why. Why does it have to be this way even? Why? Right? So leaving the ward to the community setting gave me a stark outlook in life yet again. Here, I'm able to see how my patients are coping in the natural environment. I was a nurse, I was a doctor, I was a pharmacist, I was a physiotherapist, occupational therapist, you name it, even social worker. What else? I was also a friend, a kid, and a granddaughter. But why? The question is why? Why is the difference between the underprivileged and the average are so distinct? The living conditions of the poor is just what you see in the photo over there. Not exaggerated. Many of them were hoarders, and they are usually poorly dressed with a stench of bodily fluid, and their houses are usually poorly lit and often infested with some sorts of pests, ants, cockroaches, etc. On the other spectrum, as you could see there, the patients who are wealthier seem to have a better living environment and support system. Their houses are better lit and they usually have a caregiver at least. One thing for sure, the underprivileged have a poorer health outcomes as compared to the privileged. That's for sure, right? So having experienced the bottom 1% of the society, which I bet most of you can't imagine what I've seen, what I've experienced in the community setting, serving my patients, does money really matter? Can you really wait to start saving or investing? Nursing has taught me so much things about life and humanity that pretty much shaped who I have become today. So without these experiences, I wouldn't have changed my perceptions on investing and even started dabbling in the stock market, starting from Singapore blue chip stocks at the age of 19, a few years after the subprime crisis. So both groups could have a glorious past in the prime, like how we are right now, but the fate at retirement is 180 degrees different because of their relationship with money. So let us see these two groups of investors. Investor 1 starts early at 20 years old, and let's say contributed for 15 years, and investor 2 starts a bit later, let's say at 35 years old, and contributed longer for 30 years. In conclusion, not only did investor 1 contribute a lower amount, but also have a higher return as compared to investor 2. Do you want to be investor 1 or 2? Let me know in the chat. Do you want more money as investor 1, or do you want to start late and contribute longer as investor 2? Thank you for the responses. So today, the future belongs to us millennials. Millennials have the power to influence the future on how the world is progressing. This is why I wrote my newest book, Money for Millennials, How Do You Achieve Financial Freedom by 30 to reach out to more people. And as I continue to mentor the BOS students, the Buffett Online School students, and give talks to various interest groups such as BNI, you could see them, Mary is also in the chat, Chloe is also in the chat, and some familiar faces also. Here is my investing philosophy. It must be holistically planned, must be. It must be easy and simple to follow so that the strategy can be replicated with success. And of course, it must be safe, right? So like what Warren Buffett himself says, there's only 2 rules to investing, just 2. Rule number 1, don't lose money. And rule number 2, don't forget rule number 1. How many of you don't want to lose money? Spam me the dollar sign in the chat, please. Spam me the dollar sign in the chat. If you don't want to lose money, thank you. Right? So this is my first testimonial that I'm going to show you guys. I used to conduct a 3-day course where one of my students actually mentioned that I could be able to distill something that is potentially information overload into something easy and actionable steps, right? And what is my strategy, right? So this is my little secret. If you want to be financially independent, you must take the driver's seat in your personal finance management. Only when you are behind the wheels can you stir the car in the direction of financial success. With popular estimates, 90% of the people loses money in the stock market, and that's because they lack this thing called clarity. And this is how I built my infinity wealth. We all start with being an income earner, exchanging time for money. And then with this income, I can help you to protect your financial portfolio against external influences, to save up for the future with minimal risk and regular interest paying passive income, and also to invest for potential exponential growth. The idea is that I want to help you to create 2 things. Number 1, to create long-term passive income, and number 2, for long-term capital appreciation. All in all, these are to be achieved with the promise that the quality of life will not be compromised. I want you guys to enjoy what you do best in the day and sleep well with a peace of mind at night. So, if you would like to be like me, to be able to network with the successful people, to learn from the success because success leaves clue, and to be able to enjoy an expensive hobby, to travel whenever you desire. People who knows me knows that I love surfing and I will travel for surfing. And also, for people who wants to travel as and when you desire, do join my Telegram. Right? Why? Because this is one of the code that my mentor actually taught me previously. And I hold this code strictly to heart. Why live in charity when you can live in dignity? Alright? Why? Right? So this is another testimonial that my client actually shared with me earlier as well. He said that I'm able to actually distill things into in-depth holistic explanation, and I will give my time to actually understand their backgrounds and explain the underlying logistics, and something that I'm really, really passionate in. Alright? So I used to conduct this 3 days masterclass to teach my students. As you can see, this is something I conducted 2 years ago. But today, I want to actually make my content free of charge and accessible to all of you, because I believe that we all have what it takes to achieve financial freedom. So do join my Telegram group where I will conduct regular market updates, trends, exclusive sharings that is suitable for all levels. Right? And I've also recently conducted a live sharing of my recent trip to Omaha. For those who are with me, you probably could remember about it. And the current sector that I have actually had my eyes on. As it was pretty much sensitive, the things that I share on the current sector that I had my eyes on, I couldn't upload the whole thing. I had only part 1 uploaded, and many actually have asked me for a second session. So if you want to know more about what's the trend moving forward, what's my personal belief, and what am I talking to my community, do scan in my QR code and join me in my Telegram group. Why? Because I'll be conducting my next exclusive sharing on Buffett's Secret on the 20th of June, 8 p.m. And of course, with all Zoom accounts, there's actually a limitation of slots that I can actually help to enroll you guys in. So tonight, 8 p.m., I am going to release my Zoom link so that you guys, first come, first serve, join in my link, sign up for it, and I will see you on the 20th of June, 8 p.m. See you then.